Okay, my story starts with I love jiu-jitsu and I trained a lot of jiu-jitsu. We were training for a competition, and one day after training I went to shower and I was brushing my teeth and I just saw this lump appear on my neck. It was like quite a big lump and I didn't know what it was, and I was like I wasn't too concerned, but I wasn't sure what to think of it. So I thought, let me give it a few days, see if it goes away. Then about after a week or so, nothing happened. It stayed there, and I decided to see a doctor. I went to the doctor. They did some blood works. They sent me to get a sonar at the radiologist. So I went to the radiologist. They did a scan. They saw these two lumps, and it's kind of a weird feeling because I kind of knew something wasn't right based on their reaction or how they reacted when they saw it, but I wasn't sure, so I just went with it. They did the scans. I had to wait a few days to hear the results. Obviously I prayed about it, and because at that moment I was quite concerned, I prayed a lot about it, and they told me that there's another lump underneath that lump based on the sonar. The lumps were quite big, and I would need to go see a surgeon to do a biopsy so that they can actually see what's wrong. At that point it started getting like, I started realizing that this is quite serious, and I started praying even more about it. And for some reason I had this feeling, to me it's like God was talking to me. He was saying that this is cancer, but He's with me, He'll take care of it. And for some reason it's weird because being a human, having mistakes, I believed the one part, but I didn't believe the other part. So I believed I had cancer, but I didn't fully believe that God would take care of it. I was kind of worried, the fear of what might happen, the fear of the unknown, uncertainty. So that fear took a hold of me, and then the doctor said, okay, I booked an appointment for my biopsy, and once I got the results from that biopsy, they told me that I had cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 2 lymphoma, which is a cancer of the immune system, and you have lymph nodes all over your body, and that's why the first place it pops up is in your neck area. So I got the lymphs here, lymph nodes, the swollen lymph nodes in my neck. So once they confirmed that, I had to see an oncologist. They told me what I would need to go through, the types of treatment I would need. So it was quite an intense experience, because you get this overwhelming feeling. You're not certain what's up ahead. You've got this fear of death now. Suddenly, you're scared. It's a natural reaction, and the more I prayed, the more I got a sense of calmness over me about that first thing that God told me, that He will be there, He will be with me, He'll take care of this. So even though I was overwhelmed with fear, I just had a calm feeling that this will be okay. It didn't happen quickly. It was quite a journey, because you've got all these different emotions that like is revolving in your head, and you're constantly thinking of things. So I did a lot of praying, and I also went to our weekly connect groups where we talked about it, and we prayed a lot about it, and I felt that my breakthrough came within this group, because we were um, we were just connecting with God. We were praying about it. We were just putting everything out there for God to handle. And everyone around me was praying about. They were praying. They were assisting me, and they were just there for me. They were when I was weak in that moment, where I didn't have, maybe where I felt things aren't looking so good. People were there to help me pray. And when we get together, like they say, where two or more get together, that's where the presence of God is. And that's where I experienced this. I mean, we prayed so much, and it just, the breakthrough came. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just had this feeling within me that God was working, you know. As we were praying, I got goosebumps all over my body every time we prayed, and it's almost like that healing came through that. I know that I went through all the chemotherapy, and that healed me, but I believe that God healed me through the chemo. It's not that you know, so many people go through chemotherapy and they're not healed. So it's basically, for me, it's God that healed me. He worked through the chemotherapy, He healed me through this whole process, and He helped me through all of it. And I'm so thankful for that. I basically got a second chance of life, and yeah, it's scary sometimes to think that how quickly your life can change in an instant. I mean, there I was training healthy, as fit as a fiddle, and then the next day everything changed. Within an instant, a blink of an eye, your life can change. And some people aren't as lucky as I am, and I feel that there's so many things to be thankful for, and this journey that God put me on helped me to realize that, and it helps me to appreciate that there are so much more to be thankful for than we currently are thankful for. We have life, things we take for granted. There's just something profound about life that we don't fully understand. And once you get that second opportunity, it's just so. It's just something that you can't explain really. And by that, I just want to say that you need to make the best of your life. I know it's a cliche, because lots of people say live like it's your last day, and things like these happen so quickly that if you don't live like that, your days will flash by in an instant, and then you'll be sitting one day wondering, what happened? What did I do with all those years I had? And if you think about it from people that aren't as lucky, they don't get that second opportunity. It gets taken away. And so I would just like to say that God is always there. There's always hope, no matter what situation you're in, no matter what your circumstances are. There's always hope. God is always there. People will not always be there, but God is always there. He's always there. You can always rely on Him. He will come through. He will provide. One thing that I also realized is God is activated through your faith. You've got the ability within you. The Holy Spirit is in you, so He can work within you. But if you don't give Him that opportunity to work within, then nothing will happen. You need to allow God to work within you. And a lot of times when you're in those difficult situations, when you don't know what's going to happen, when you're weak, when your mind is not at the right place, that is when God is the strongest. That is when He works within you. That is when you feel that I'm so powerless, I can't do anything about the situation. The only option for me is to rely on God. And when you rely on God in such a circumstance, that's when He comes through. That's when He helps you. That's when He provides. That's when God intervenes in your life. That's when He makes a big change. And I just want to say that never give up, and never give up hope. I know people like me, myself, we tend to try to run away from these difficult situations. We know that, when we're weak, we don't want to talk to God because we feel afraid, we feel fear, we feel all these things. But at some point, you just feel that there's no other option than to talk to God, and that's when He comes through. And I just want to give you that hope, that message of hope. Through all my chemotherapy and everything, people were with me, praying with me, they were standing with me. We were forming a small community where we just gave everything to God, and He came through. We relied on Him, I relied on Him, and my family was with me. They supported me, they gave me hope, and by praying with me and giving me that strength to just push through. And all the prayers and everyone that prayed with me, they helped me to get through this difficult time in my life. And I think in April 2020, I went for a PET scan after all my chemotherapy, and everything was clear. I was in full remission, and that's all to the grace and mercy of God. And then I just want to add another bit where I had like a cancer scare. After maybe, I think, after 6 months of being in remission, one day I saw a little lump on my chest again, and immediately all those memories and fear and everything just popped up, and I was on a kind of a journey to connect more with God. And it's funny how God works, because in this moment I was fasting, and I was just wanting to connect with God more, and then I suddenly got this lump, and I was so worried. And then I just prayed more and more, and every morning I was praying and trying to connect with God. And then this happened, and I was wondering, why is this happening now? And then the one morning, I had the same feeling that when I first heard God's voice saying that it's cancer, but you'll be fine, you will get me through this. He told me that this is not cancer, you don't need to worry, you don't need to worry about it. And with my journey of trying to connect with God, that's how He connected with me. So I still went to the doctors to make sure. I had blood works done, everything was fine. I had to do a sonar again. They said there's nothing, it's just soft muscle tissue that's forming. So from that experience, I am starting to learn what God's voice sounds like, how He's talking to me. And in that moment where I tried to connect with Him, that's how He connected with me, showing that that's His voice talking to me, and that helped me to believe and feel more confident in myself and in and how I can understand Him. So that's just how God works, and He just proved to me that it doesn't matter what happens in your life, He is there for you, and He will stand with you. He has His hand on your shoulder, He's guiding you. And be positive and carry on praying and never give up. Persevere, and if you reach out to God, He will grab your hand. His hand is waiting there. His hand is right there, and it's actually our job to reach out, and He's just waiting for us to reach out. As soon as we reach out, He will grab your hand, and He will be with you, and He will guide you through everything.